to tell me your father left you all alone with a beautiful naked girl from Spain? My man.
Where did Rudy go? I need her to help me fix this puzzle.
I saw Samantha. Can I stay with you tonight?
And I thought I was going to get a little chocolate pudding.
Hey folks, the video game industry is pretty saturated right now. With shit, that is. It's all about graphics and smooth gameplay. Every FPS needs to be a multiplayer with some tacked on gimmick.
Oh, fuck!
Looter shooter, extraction shooter, God forbid another battle royale for the umpteenth time. It's exhausting. So sometimes as gamers we need to take a step back and branch out into other genres. Unless you're the type to buy COD every year, or Madden, or NBA, or WWE, or a said fighting game. But normal people play other games. That's why sometimes it's nice to play something like a H-game.
Yes!
I feel like I am in my element right now, boys. It's time. It's breasts. Well,
Stillness in the Wind isn't one. So, have you heard of Stillness of the Wind? If yes, then hopefully I will do this game justice. If not, I hope this convinces you to go and buy the game and have your own experiences with it. The game was released on February 7th, 2019 and developed by Memory of God, who I guess owns Lambic Studios, and published by Fellow Traveler. Even though I have 6.5 hours clocked with 2 different game playthroughs, I had planned to do 3, but I had enough of the game the first time. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but just 2 playthroughs was good enough for me. The first time, it felt like the game went on forever to the point where I was convinced it went on forever, but it does have different endings. Also, just not to get anyone's hopes up, no, I wasn't able to secure an interview with the developer, Koyan Cardenas, aka Memory of God.
With Memory of God. I feel silly calling you Memory of God.
Yeah, I know. It's such a silly name. I'm sorry.
I don't think it's a silly name. It's that it has so much gravitas that it seems like it's like calling someone your Royal Highness, which I don't understand how people do, even for royalty. So. Yeah,
I know. It's a long story how I ended up with that name, but it wasn't intentional. It was kind of accident.
But there is one he did with Suzanne Wallace, the marketing manager for Fellow Traveler. Well, used to be. Well, I will talk about that later. It's just a little interesting. I don't... Perfect. To kick off the review, the gameplay is simple.
Terrible. So if there was a feature that I would want to do, but it is really complex, I would just not do it because I can't do it, right? And it would take me like so long to do something that's actually complex. So because I'm such a bad programmer, it actually keeps the game quite simple, which I think is a good thing because it means you can focus on the actual game as opposed to getting lost in like technical systems and all that stuff. So
yeah,
and it also keeps like the development time down and the budget and everything. So
keeps things sort of focused in on what makes sense right now for us to get done.
You can click where you want Talma to go and pick up items to use. Our protagonist's name is Talma, which has some meaning and will be revealed when we get to the story portion of the video. You live on this farm and you try to get by day. You can grow crops, collect eggs, make goat cheese, or collect fauna. These items are essential, for they are how you trade with the merchant who delivers letters to you daily from your family that lives in the city. You also use these items to eat. There is a system in place, so if you do a lot of work, you'll get hungry. So to do more work, you have to eat. There is a cooking system where you can choose different ingredients to go in your cooking. You'll get a different response from your character if they are satisfied with the dish. In farming, you prepare the land, plant the seeds, finally water them, and use the water from the well outside your gate to water them. No, I ran out of water, damn! I'm not gonna get some fuck that shit. Basically, it takes a lot of inspiration from Winter Moon or Winter Harvest or Harvest Moon. I don't remember. I don't know what the fuck it's called. I never played it. Okay, strike me. May God strike me down. I never fucking played Harvest Moon. Okay. Right here already starts some problems. Not something that negatively impacts the experience, but rather this consumes time. However, something to be mindful of is when you fill the bucket, it is suitable for 5 crops, meaning it's better to just grow 5 crops per day, or instead 2 to 3 crops a day. The latter option ensures you don't need to leave your farm for water and waste time getting water from a well like it's Africa. Doing this can ensure you get enough time to do everything. Another activity is collecting eggs from the coop, which can go up and down because for whatever reason your chicken count goes down randomly. The final activity is a very involved process. Making goat cheese is as complicated as you think it can get. You have 2 goats that you can milk once daily. You can get 2 cheeses by doing this, or 3 if you first pet the goats and then milk them. You may have noticed some of the activities require you to wait for a meter to fill to perform the action. If you mess up, the consequence is that the action doesn't count, so it will take up more time to do. But after you collect the milk, you have to pour into a cauldron and pasteurize it. This takes some time, so you have time to do other things like collect crops, get the mail, talking to the mailman, trader. I don't know what his primary profession is, but he is used for both things. He also gives a little information on what's going on in the world. The things you can buy from him ranges from chicken, seeds, hay, shotgun shells, books, collectibles, and a breeding sheep.
Loosen up, have some fun. Let's watch some Asian porn together like gentlemen.
Pandas don't do it for us. Do you have any cows?
It's up to you to figure out what you will need for the day or the long run. Also, for trading, the valuable commodity you have is goat cheese. Not only is it suitable for filling your character up, but can help you buy a lot of goods. Everyone is going to experience this differently, but my primary strategy the second time was to sell one, eat one, and keep one. This way, I can build my inventory over time for big purchases. Another choice is to simply do nothing. You can complete this game without farming or trading because the narrative will continue. You can just walk around all day, exploring the area, collecting items. The items in the waste is for a secret ending? Maybe the actual ending? It isn't clear what the real ending is, but it boils down to your interpretation of the ending, as well as the events you experience through the ordeal. I have my thoughts, but now is the time to share them. This section is a little hard to talk about because a lot of the music is part of the story and helps enrich the intended feeling at the time of an event. But for the most part, it's all very beautiful. It's a type of music that would end up on a top 10 ambient music of all time video, but it's all very effective. It was all created by Jack Taylor.
Yeah, when the opportunity for Stillness came around, I knew I wanted to get Jack back on and do a whole new soundtrack for the game, which I did, and he was really excited to do that as well. And yeah, that was interesting as well because in the same way that the Stillness is kind of an extension of where the goats are, the soundtrack is the same way. So some tracks are like completely composed from scratch, and other tracks are actually based on the original tracks, but kind of remixed and recomposed and just composed. I already said that.
I couldn't find a face to put to the name, so just enjoy the small compilation of Google search results of Jack Taylor with some of his music playing. Ah, yes, the story. Unlike the last two, this has one. It's not straightforward, but it has more nuance to it.
interesting for me to work with writers, because it's something that I can't do at all. And so it's very difficult for me to explain what I want. So I just kind of relied on them to take my kind of very general, broad guidance and just have fun with it and just make up their own things and then send it to me. So later in the development, I actually got a guy called Harold Hagen, I'm not sure, probably Hagen, to come in and basically take Michael Berto's writing it and basically just take it as a base and develop it further, restructure it, change the plot lines around, and just make it, just develop it further so everything was just working a bit more cohesively as the game was developing. So that's the final draft you see in the game as you play it today.
As the game opens, it turns to day. This is how the game opens every new playthrough, all the while Thomas' theme plays in the background. It's a very subtle piece. This first day is really to help new players get an idea of what the controls are, or for veteran players to plan ahead for the foreseeable future. This ties in with what I think the true story of Stillness of the Wind is about, but when we get to the end, I'll go into more detail. Nothing much to take away from the first day besides some of the flavor text from clicking on items in the world. Day 2 is when we meet our next main character, besides the goats of course, the merchant, or mailman, or dealer. Hey yo, who are you, bro? At any rate, he is the only other human that we get to talk to, which can provide us with insight into what's going on in the city and give us our mail, which also helps move the story along. To be honest, during anyone's first playthrough, I recommend talking to him every day when possible. You don't need to do this to complete the game, but it makes the final moments of the game just that more meaningful. Otherwise, you don't need to talk to him to complete the game, as it will continue. But if you plan on doing the farming route, as I have come to call it, it will be important that you talk to him, if not for information, but trade with him. This game's economy makes sense once you understand how to gain from it, but as stated before, cheese is the main currency you'll use to get as much as you need. Outside of introducing the trader, the other main point is the letter you receive. There's a lot to unpack from these letters, but the key point is the bridge has collapsed, so Laszlo, the mailman, is our only way of communicating. However, one thing that gets me is that you can't write a letter back. At first, I thought it was because Talma can't write, which might be possible at her age, but she can read. I don't know if it wasn't thought about or simply a stylistic choice, but I would have to assume the latter.
Everything that you discover is through these letters that Talma's getting from her family, so it's all the most unreliable narrator, wherein she's hearing these stories being told from her family members, and you're like, is that really what happened, or is that just their version of events, or is a lot of poetic license taken? Because the letters read very prettily a lot of the time. So you're sort of like, huh.
Also in these letters, there are gifts which can be seeds or even books. Day 3 starts out the same with you tending to your crops and animals. This time the merchant informs you of collecting fauna around the desert. When you do this, you need the basket to collect it. Some things that aren't talked about are that in order for your eggs to be deposited into your inventory, you need to actually bring them in. I didn't realize this until late into the game my first time, and wish there was some small tutorial telling you about this stuff, but it's fine. This one is more of a filler and just provides us with how hot Talma and her sister used to look back in the day. Not only that, but the chair we sit on when we eat and breathe is our father's chair. Day 3 is when you start collecting crops to sell and eat, unless you didn't start growing on day 1, which, I mean, come the fuck on. We don't get much on current events from the merchant, but just some filler from the old days. First off, hand me that mail, nigga. That didn't look healthy. Also, this is when I've had milking issues with one of my goats and can only milk the green one. Kinda annoying. Where have the goats gone, am I right?
What was the story of how this got started? Just a tiny question.
Well, I mean, like, if you don't know, the game that came out just now, Stillness, was basically an extension of Where the Goats Are, which is a free-to-play game on itch. So they're basically part of the same story, right? And it's just an extension of the same story. So initially, I think I was working in architecture at the time, and I was really fed up. I was living in London, and I was fed up with city life, you know, working 9 to 6 every day, commuting like 2 hours every day, which is ridiculous. So me and my girlfriend were fantasizing about just moving away to the country and getting some goats. And
specifically goats. Interesting.
Yeah, I just really like goats. And so that was the premise of the game. That was I had just finished the first game that I made ever. And I was looking for another game idea, and I was like, I'm just gonna make that game. I'm just gonna make a game that you just I think it was gonna be an old man at first, but then my girlfriend was like, what if it was an old woman? I was like, yeah, that's great.
Yay.
So yeah, so the initial game was just you have a house and you have a goat, and I think you could pet the goat. And that was it. And that was as far as it was going to go. That was all I had in mind when I did it.
Also, Dio is a pretty epic name for a goat. This reveals more of Talma when she was younger, but I believe this is also foreshadowing future events regarding Talma and her dreams. But this also gives us some insight on current events in the city. So yeah, our cousin is the new mayor, meaning our trafficking business can go smoothly. So yeah, this is when you can get the breeding goat. This guy does his job and gets the fuck out. After your goats get a mini version of itself, you can actually just sell the small goat for a good chunk of supplies. I didn't have enough the first time, but my second playthrough, woo! You have also noticed the shotgun and ability to purchase shells. This is important, but at the same time, not really. When we get to that night, I'll go into more detail. Interesting things to take away from this. I believe the mailman is Vota, however you pronounce his name, father, which, if it is, makes you wonder why he abandoned his practice, house, and wife, but more importantly, what were his failures? The second part, I think, is recount when they first met, when she was 16 and probably took care of him since he was a child. And third, it seems he moved to the city to absolve the corruption there. But also, why did they fall out of touch? Was it due to a disagreement, or simply just not enough time to write to one another? Ah, yes, the first dream sequence. These are really hard to decipher, but everything is dark as we walk outside and touch the goat. What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? Dude, what kind of existential crisis is she going through right now? Holy shit.
Must be a real reason, but actually the way that we worked was telling ourselves that there isn't a real reason, or if it's not in the game, then it doesn't exist, right? There's no like hidden lore book that explains exactly what's going on in the game behind the scenes. It's like, no, it's like if it's not explained in the game, it's not explained, and it never will be explained.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of a part of it, that you can't get answers to everything in life. So
yeah, you just can't.
Yeah, so these statues are actually required if you want to get part of the true ending. It's unclear, but when we get to the end of this adventure, I will attempt to describe some of this. But for right now, these statues are a piece of Talon's memories of when she was a child. Oh shit, this guy's a simp, my lady. Get the fuck out of here with that sneako shit. Just get the goods, damn it.
Hey guys, guess what I'm shooting with today? It's finally happening. Wow, I did not know you were gonna do that.
Also, this guy now sells trinkets. I don't know what to say, except they are collectibles that look nice in your yard. I'm sure there's something there, but right now it seems like a letter that was sent for fun. To be honest, as of writing this script, I do have a hard time wondering if I should be reading these. But what the hell, am I right? See this tomb? Remember it. Keep away from my sister G, just hand me my shit. Oh, gave me a shotgun shell. Alright. Ah yes, the rain. These days are perfect because you can cut out having to water the plants. It's perfect. Can't wait to see one of those "this game is perfectly balanced" videos. That one doesn't give a shit either, working the fields like a true Mexican. Flummoxed? 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 Pretty big word. Probably gonna use that from now on. Honestly, this is the first time we get the idea that things aren't hunky-dory in the city as they seem. There are riots in the streets, probably because of the police brutality or something.
You gotta force some scenes of a fight, which often happens around chow time, into a bond.
But our daughter left at some point and probably not on good terms. You know, it's odd when you think that Tama is on this farm by herself at her age. She has grandkids, you know. Yet she's out here hustling and selling that Marza. Tama is a real one. The next day is interesting because the mail trader doesn't show up, meaning you can get a lot of back-end things done for the next few days for someone that is experienced. Someone new will probably get used to a certain routine at some point, expect him to show up, and when he doesn't, it just puts a whole damper on the day. But I mean, hey, I'll probably see him tomorrow. Yeah, very cute. Give me my shit. Okay. That wolf? So this is that night. There's a reason for the shotgun shells for the wolf night. I believe this can happen twice in a playthrough, but basically the wolves are ready to eat. And you need to keep your currency safe. Now you can go through it normally, shooting at the wolves and spooking them, or just leave the game and come back and hope it doesn't proc. See, these are random, so there is a chance that you may never get this in a playthrough and can cheese the whole thing. But that's some weak bitch shit. Hey, get the fuck out of here! That was a little bit more intense than I thought it was gonna be. Holy shit. I actually got fucking scared for a second there. Look, asshole, I tried my best. Think you can do any better? Just give me my shit. Things only get interesting regarding Sola, but right now it seems like she's on her way back from the city. But some foreshadowing is placed in this letter. Alright, let's go to sleep. You know, the game is good at being out there sometimes. I love it. This sequence feels like Talma is thinking of her daughter in the city amongst faceless people alone. At least this was going on in my mind, or maybe it's Talma when she was young, who knows? The creator would, but he's never gonna tell. And that's the point. Oh, and no mail today either. And this letter is what helps open our eyes to the city and what's really been happening. But it seemed like it happened after the festival. Oh no. This does make one question, was the festival just a festival or something else? And a baby turning into the air in his mother's arms sounds like someone had too much to drink, or it could hint at something else. Could this be the start of the rapture? No, that's stupid. But it does hint that Emmy may be missing at this point in the story. We are beginning to see the end of this tragic tale. Okay, so I spoiled the last one, but it was a little obvious where this was going. But it does state that the disappeared do return at some point, but are confused and disoriented. Why they are returning? Why are they disappearing? Who cares? I have a farm to run. I also got unlucky this day because no mail. And it's a wolf night. Unfortunately, I lost one. Hey. Oh, it got one. Damn. Motherfuckers. Motherfuckers, they got one. I wasn't that pissed because it was the glitch one that I couldn't milk from, so I mean, I wasn't sad at all. After clearing our mind and eating, let's just see what this letter has in store. The search for Emmy is still going strong for our daughter and brother, but some other worrying news is that people are moving from the city to another town. Not only that, there is a blackout right now. You may not be paying attention, but when the days start, there's always a flock of birds above our house, and this question really took me back because it never crossed my mind. Something to also consider is that it now gets darker faster. This is either due to some weird phenomena or simply because it's a different season. This one feels a bit weird just due to the from section. It implies that at this point, Pot, that was in charge and ready to change the city, has given up on it. Also, for anyone who is fucking confused, Pot is a nickname for Vada Bara. The fucking guy, the trader's son, okay? This day is greeted with no mail. No more eggs to collect? Where the fuck did my chickens go? What the fuck? It feels like that. Oh, so I'm supposed to... How the fuck? I never had to do that. Whatever. Alright. This is one from our sister. The issue is when it was written. By the content, it seems like it was written during the festival, which may describe why she never mailed it off, because she disappeared during it. Another odd observation was at the end when she wrote always 3 times. Was it a simple stylistic choice, or was she purely going through something mental at the time? Ah yes, the storm. The weather is gloomy, the music is not as playful as it was, more sorrowful. You know, something terrible is approaching, but you're unsure what it could be. Them wolves are coming. They sound like they want to get shot. Also, I got fucked on a 3rd wolf encounter. They don't know. Grandma Tama out here ready to cap a couple wolves. Hey, yo. Damn. No, I didn't want you to shoot. Damn. Another glorious day. I love doing work in the rain. All right, well, better late than never to mow the lawn, I guess. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. There he is. Bro, just hand me my shit. What's more interesting about this though is that he usually is seen coming from the city, but it looks like he's on his way to the city this time. A late start, but hey, when you're only one, I guess it's excusable. Lazy fucking prick. Our sister, although found, also passed away. Garza doesn't have much left and is traveling west to see his family. Our daughter's coming here to be with us on the farm. Okay, a lot to unpack there. So first, the train may be an earlier memory. I wouldn't be too sure. But the main concern is the graves. Does it signify how many have already died or are about to die? Is it people from the city or her family? Or are they her? 2 days after that dream and there was no firewood to burn, the mailman was nowhere to be seen. The storm has gotten worse. At this point, one can imagine how things are about to make a turn. Ooh. Day 3 of the storm. Alma is coughing due to the dust and probably because of her health at this age. The mailman greets us though. There's an avalanche coming down the mountain. Damn, that nigga booked it. Oh, so there's an avalanche coming down the mountain? Holy shit. The land will probably be covered in snow, not only where we're at, but probably where the city is. The trader understands there is no escaping it and delivers us our mail of the day and runs towards home where he still has a family. We wait at our house alone, wondering who sent us the mail and will our daughter make it home. Well, that wasn't so bad, huh? We have a lot of snow. Can't do any crops, that's fine. We lost our cough and our goat. But I think everything's gonna be okay. That's fine. Well, we just start over again. Now let's just go back inside and enjoy a nice frozen. Okay, so that was just wow. What just happened, you may be wondering. So this is the dye, right? Nahobinos.
The god you cravenly revere is dead.
Demons and angels are fighting for New Tokyo, and I'm just joshing with you, so bear with me. Tama has already died, so she doesn't remember experiencing this, but this was her first death. But going from this first playthrough is her second life. You are piecing together what's going on as Tama until her death. Each playthrough, you're experiencing different things and collecting more information. Basically Groundhog Day. And the graves are the number of times Tama has died and will die until she finds a satisfactory answer. And her final breath is when you stop playing the game. It's when you've finally gotten the answer.
I don't know. I don't think of it as a sad game, but maybe some people would disagree. But I definitely think it's like it's sad in the way that nostalgia is sad, right? It's sad because it's happy.
Yeah.
Right, and it's not like straight up. I think Rock Paper Shotgun described it as goat herding depression simulator, which I thought was maybe slightly inaccurate, but funny. But it's not like straight up sad.
Right. I think actually
Right.
Ray in the chat just said melancholy, and it does.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's maybe a more appropriate word.
Yeah.
For...
Yeah, it's slightly more nuanced than just, oh, this is just depressing and sad and everything's bad. It's like, no, it's not actually.
There are actually more things that can happen during the end depending on specific actions you took during the game. I'm not going to spoil them because I want people to go out and buy this game and find their own experiences. That's what the creator primarily wanted from the game.
I can never go back. Yeah, I can't experience it. I kind of wish that I could play it without having made it. And I wonder, be interested in what I thought of it actually. No, but it's really interesting to hear kind of different players' experiences and how they played it and what they got out of it is really, really interesting because in development, like it's quite. I think it doesn't have to be this way, but for Stillness, it wasn't shown to many people at all.
I think that is everything I wanted to discuss for the central part. There are some things left out from the review. That's because for a short game, there is quite a bit to explore, and as stated, I want others to explore and have their own conclusion for the game and have their own adventures.
No question for you while we have you here today, which is why goats?
Why goats?
Why goats? What is it about goats?
I don't know.
I'm springing this on you completely.
Have
Goats
you
are
seen
awesome and terrifying.
Yeah. I don't think I had much contact with goats before making the game. But I think I was really interested in like the subsistence that you can get from them. Like,
oh yeah.
you can just own them, and they'll provide for you if you provide for them, that kind of thing. So that was that. I think that was the reason, because it fits so well with the theme of the game, right? It's like you're all the way out in the middle of nowhere, and it's just you, and you have these goats, and you're both reliant on each other, and there's something quite beautiful about that.
Yeah.
But actually, since making these games, I've grown really fond of goats.
Yeah.
Hey, this is just a little part here because I did forget to mention the thing about Suzanne Wallace. The more interesting fact was, at some point, I don't know if she got fired or she just left, but she had left Fellow Traveler, and she actually currently, if I remember correctly, and I'll probably just put it up on the screen, she's currently actually working at the same publisher that published Hit Snatchers, the first review that I'd done. So that was a pretty interesting thing to see. And then I guess if anyone wants to know like what's my overall review on the game, yeah, good game. I like it. I don't know what's going on with the negative reviews currently, but I mean, it's a fun game. So yeah, I mean, like I said, just go out, buy the game, have your own adventures with it. So I guess see you on the next one. And if anyone's wondering what's the next video, it's a toss-up. It was gonna be between Tomb Raider or Drakengard, so I'll figure it out whenever, and then you'll see a video in the next year.